Evicting a tenant can seem like a complicated process, but in this video we'll quickly explain the eviction laws in Nevada and outline some simple steps that landlords can take to initiate an eviction. In this video, we'll talk about what the eviction process looks like, how Nevada law handles evictions, and how to legally remove a non-compliant tenant from a property. Be sure to watch to the end of this video to find a link to a fillable eviction notice. First, what is an eviction? Eviction is the legal process of removing a tenant. Even if a tenant has violated the terms of a lease agreement, it's illegal for a landlord to change locks on a property or physically remove a tenant from that property. If the tenant refuses to leave after violating the terms of a lease agreement, a landlord must seek an eviction from the court. Keep in mind that this is different from the simple termination of a lease. A landlord can opt not to renew a lease after the specified term has ended. There is no need to involve a court in this process. In Nevada, if a tenant breaches the terms of a lease agreement, a landlord can issue an eviction notice that orders the tenant to either fix the identified problem or face an eviction proceeding in court. There are several versions of this notice, and each one gets used for a different context. One is the 7-day notice to quit for non-payment of rent. This form gets used when a tenant fails to pay rent. The notice may be served at any time following the missed payment, and it gives the tenant 7 days to either pay rent or move out. If the property is a mobile home, then the tenant has 10 days. Another version of the notice to quit is the 5-day notice to quit for non-compliance. This is used when a tenant breaches the terms of a lease in a curable or repairable way. An example is housing an unauthorized pet. This notice gives the tenant 5 days to solve the problem or face eviction. The number of days does not include the date of service, weekends, or legal holidays. In Nevada, if a tenant is found to be causing substantial and intentional damage to the property, or if the tenant is caught engaging in illegal activities on the premises, such as the distribution of illegal drugs, then the tenant is given 3 days to move out. These are considered incurable lease violations. There's another form called a 30-day notice to quit. This is used by either the landlord or the tenant to end a month-to-month tenancy and indicates the tenant has 30 days to move out, even if there has been no violation of the lease agreement. The notice to quit should be served on the tenant either by the sheriff or by certified mail. The reason these forms should be delivered in one of these two ways is so that these methods allow the landlord to obtain proof that the documents were properly served, which is what the court will require. After being served with a notice to quit, the tenant has 5 days to file what's called an answer form with the court. If at the end of the allotted time period the tenant still has not responded to a notice to quit, then the landlord can file a lawsuit against the tenant in the local justice court. In Nevada, this is known as a summary eviction process. The landlord initiates this action by filing a form called a complaint with the local justice court. The complaint, also known as an affidavit or declaration for summary eviction for breach, is a form that details the landlord's grievance. The complaint must be filed with a cover sheet, which asks for basic information about the proceeding. A copy of the lease agreement must be included as well, and a copy of the notice to quit delivered to the tenant and evidence that the notice to quit was delivered. Once all of the relevant paperwork is filed, the court will assign a hearing date. Both parties are required to attend the hearing. If at the hearing the court rules in the landlord's favor, a document called an order will be issued. This requires the tenant to move out and authorizes a constable to remove the tenant and the tenant's belongings if the tenant does not move out voluntarily. Eviction can seem like a complex process, but we've got everything you need to get eviction proceedings going in Nevada, from eviction notices to court documents. You can access all of them at the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on important and relevant legal topics.